Going live now. Hello everyone. Okay, I'm starting this a little bit early. It's like 5 minutes early, but still. I just want to make sure everything works. It's like 5 minutes early, but still. Okay, perfect. So, I hope everyone can hear me. Give me some thumbs up if you can, or just let me know in the chat. So, this is now part, this is part 7 of the retopology of Snow, and it is nearing its end. So, the body retopology is basically done. I could still tweak some stuff if I have a look at them, if I have a look at it, and I would like to have our rigger or some animators at least maybe check over it if they can see any issues that I might have missed, but I think overall it's pretty good. The last thing that I need to do is the retopology for the clothes, and that is really just the t-shirt and the pants. And for the shoes, I just basically reuse the shoes that I already made for Rain. That should be fine. So this already has a final topology. I just need to fit the shoes around the feet. So that works. Last time I was almost done with a shirt. Like I had the general topology copied over from the upper body, and I was tweaking, I was adding a bit of custom loops and topology for the folds. So this will be maybe a little bit of a slower laid back session because there's not much to do anymore. And as always, I see some first questions. You can always tag Blender Studio in the chat and I will answer any questions that you might have. So this is also a little bit of a hangout where we can talk. Awesome. So with that said, I already turned on the screencast keys, and now I just need to turn on some music. I think I'm gonna turn it, a little bit lower, but that should be fine. Nice. Okay, I already see a first question. What do you think about ZBrush? I like ZBrush a lot. There's like some features in there that make sculpting in general really easy and fast. But I remember when I was using it, like it's been now a few years, quite a lot actually. And I was using an add-on called GoB, which is essentially a Blender version of the GoZ plugin. So you can immediately, with a single button, basically export your geometry to ZBrush and from ZBrush to Blender. So that makes it really easy to switch between like regular poly modeling and sculpting. And it also always exported the vertex colors, which was amazing. So you could do some poly painting in ZBrush and then export it and you immediately have it in Blender. So there's some features that I miss from ZBrush, but to be honest, for the most part, Blender became, has some really unique features that fit my workflow much better, especially in combination with regular modeling. But to be fair, I did not use ZBrush that much in recent years, so something like the Z modeler tools, I do not have that much experience with them. So what I noticed right now with the shirt is that it's still kind of snapping to the underside of the shirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the shrink fatten tool. I'm going to just fatten all of this a little bit so it like all snaps kind of to the outer side. And I'm just going to duplicate and apply the shrink wrap modifier. And maybe do this one more time. Duplicate and apply. Okay, so now this should all be snapped to the outer side. And again, like I want to repeat this again, like this trick with the Solidify modifier. If you're using the hide hidden wire overlay, which is really awesome for retopology, you will still see the backsides of your geometry. And in case of these open objects like shirts, it can be quite distracting. So there's like a really nice tip of using the Solidify modifier to hide this geometry. This is just, if I could just only have this enabled for edit mode, I would love it. I won't actually use this later on. Actually, I will. This is a shirt. I want to have it with an inner side, so awesome. Okay, I'm gonna enable snapping again, and I will keep working. Another question. Yeah, use it. I didn't know you used ZBrush back then. Yeah, I actually used a lot of software. Like, when I was still, like, getting into the industry and, like, learning 3D software in general. I mean, I kind of started with Blender. I always used Blender. But I also started using other software, like ZBrush for sculpting, and Softimage and Maya then for like main productions and working at studios, or like a studio. And then also other texturing applications like Substance and Mudbox. But yeah, so I kind of experiment with different softwares. Okay, now that I like fattened this geometry, everything kind of got arranged a bit weirdly. So I would like to have this all kind of where it belongs. But it seems like last time I already had this all pretty much set up. All of the folds are where I wanted them to be. And what I could now do is... Oh, wait. I'm actually going to open another Blender. And I want to open Rain as well. So I'm gonna open... Oh, it actually froze. Did Blender just crash? No. Hold on. Oh, I have the tablet on. I have touch on. I don't like it. Okay, I'm gonna open Rain here. So, this was the original final topology. Some more stuff got tweaked, but I want to look at this specifically for the clothes. So I'm gonna just disable the Subdivision Surface modifier on all of these objects. And yeah, this got a bit more... Okay, so I beveled certain edges and then tweaked the topology further. So, but it's still following the same sort of... Oh, Jesus. The same sort of logic over here, where I just have kind of these loops split. One loop split into 3 with a diamond. So I kind of add more geometry, make a bit of a custom topology, and have one loop on the peaks and the creases, the peaks and the valleys of these folds. And I would say I'm gonna split these diamonds for now, because that makes it a bit more obvious where this this valley over here actually ends. Doesn't end over here, it ends over here. So now I'm gonna rearrange this a little bit. There we go. This is also not quite on the right spot. Perfect. Okay. Now. Okay. Now basically what I can do, I'm gonna just take this one as the example. I want to crease especially I want to bevel the edge over here. I can like select this loop over here, I can bevel this, and oh Jesus. And I can like, with GG, I can just move this in here. And now I have 2 loops which can kind of hold this crease. Like, it's terminology that I caught from somewhere else. I like it. Like, these 2 loops can then just, when subdivided, make sure that this stays sharp. And now, I think I'm going to do the same thing for up here. But this I would like to fan out a little bit more. I don't need this to be that sharp. So if I now go into object mode and actually like So I have this in front. I'm gonna turn on the Subdivision Surface modifier. By the way, this is just a custom menu that I made. It's basically giving me some shortcuts for toggling these sorts of things here. To enable wireframe on an object or in front, so it's in front of all other objects. It's essentially working like quick favorites. So you can see that with these extra loops, these are now sharper. So that's basically what I want. But it also added some more triangles here. But since I did it twice, I now have this. Which essentially fans them out over here. That's amazing. And I can do the same thing over here. I can like merge these two face. Actually, I want to get used to a different method of selecting the edge and Control X to dissolve it. It's faster. But here's the thing. This is like a very quick way of doing this. But hold on. Why is it? Oh. Huh. Why is this wire kind of disappearing in this other object? I don't understand that right now. Makes it a bit hard to see. But yeah, I merged these two. Like I dissolved these two edges, and now this is like two quads, but they both lead into this pole right here. And like you can see, this has 6 connected edges, and that is not good. 6 is a bit too much. If you have a pole, like a vertex with more or less connected edges than 4, you should go for 3 connected edges or 5 connected edges. Don't go for 2. Don't go for more than 5. That will just cause an insane amount of stretching, which will be visible. So instead, I would like to, let's see, if I can, I would like to keep this edge going a bit further. And now I have 5 connected edges on this pole right here. I have another pole right here with 3 connected edges and another one with 5. So this is just making it a bit more clean, even though it is still like a lot of poles right next to each other. So this is fine. Perfect. And then I basically keep doing this for the other areas as well. I can like select this loop over here and bevel it. Move this one over here, this one over here. I have this sharp edge, and I want to do the same thing on the top, because this one is also supposed to be a bit sharper. Can slide this one in here. It was the Subdivision Surface modifier that caused the wires to disappear. I know why, but to be honest, this should not be an issue. Okay. So now what I would want to do is same thing over here. Just lead this one a bit further in. Meanwhile, this one can just basically dissolve over here. With a cut tool, with a knife tool, I can just go in here. I can dissolve this edge. Move these a bit more around, and now this is also more nice and smooth. It's looking good. Over here, same issue. I can go in with a knife tool over here. Dissolve this. Actually, dissolve this edge. Move this one a bit more around. Dissolve this edge. And now I have this also a bit more fanned out, which results in nicer smoothing with the Subdivision Surface modifier. Okay. Just checking the chat real quick. Oh, I see someone ask about the hardware specs. You can actually read the description of the video. There's some more information right there if you're interested in the hardware that I'm using right now. This is actually not my usual work computer. This is in the recording room, but still, you can find it right there. Okay. So, same thing over here. Actually, I would want this to be a bit more moved up. I don't want this to be creased that much. Perfect. Then, perfect. Now, actually, I would like to let's see. Let's actually dissolve these two over here. I'd also like to fan this further up. This a bit further down. There we go. And then there we go. It is a bit of a messy topology. I'm trying to be a bit careful about what I'm doing here, but it is definitely helpful to model in some of these creases, especially if you're not going for like extra displacement textures and stuff like that. And also if it's a bit more stylized, you can just, like if you're not doing any cloth simulation, this is fine. There we go. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. I want this little bit of extra definition for the folds, and with a little bit of creases by having two edge loops really close to one another. Same thing over here. Oh, over here it actually, it's a bit more difficult because I decided to like have this a bit more open-ended. Oops. It doesn't get wrapped up with a diamond, it just kind of transitioned downwards into the rest. So I'll have to see. Okay. But still, I want this to be sharp. Over here I can bevel this. I'm gonna bevel it a bit more. There we go. Wait. Could I? No. Maybe. Yes. Yeah, this looks good. I see another question. Do you work with pre-production? Wait, do you work with pre-production in Blender movies, such as making concept and storyboards? Not doing storyboards. I'm not in the layout department, but like that's usually more a job for the animators. But I am doing a little bit of concept work, and I'm definitely working in the pre-production. So that is definitely one of my biggest tasks, that I'm working on the early designs of characters, props, also sometimes, especially now with Sprite Fright, a bit more on the environments. I mean, same thing on Spring. Actually all of the open movies that I worked on so far, I did a lot with environments. But yeah, yeah, doing a lot of pre-production actually. And then during the production, I'm doing a lot of set work mainly. That's usually the time where also all the characters are wrapped up. There's not much else to do. Let's see. This is all looking good. This is a bit ugly. Why is this ugly? Aha. Let me actually change this. Okay. Still a bit ugly. There's just so many poles close to each other right here. It's making it a mess. Okay. Let's see. What I might actually do is... Okay, let's merge these two faces just with F. And I would like to just keep this going for a bit longer, so I can just do this. Do this. No. Let's try to just end it right there. I'm gonna dissolve one of these edges so it keeps going all the way until there. And this should relax this area a little bit more. Huh. Yeah, this is a bit of a tricky area. It's like... I would actually ideally add another loop right here. Like basically down here, like this. It could relax the entire thing a bit more. But I'm not sure. Because that also then just goes up there and it leads back in here. It like goes all over the place. I would say I'll keep it like this for now. Pushing this a bit more up. I want to also pronounce some of these loops a bit more. Some of these valleys. And to be honest, this one also still needs to be beveled. This one right here. Same thing for this one. Can just keep going for a while, to be honest. Ooh, it can even go all the way around. Let's do that. Screw it. Can bevel this. There we go. I see a random question in the chat. What are all the markers in the timeline? That's actually a good question. I still have some of the expression tests in this file. These markers, I don't actually use them right now. They're just for like that I can toggle between certain expressions for the character. I guess I can just like, let's save real quick. I can like quickly go into there we go. So I actually have the character right here, and I can just quickly toggle between different sculpts that I did. There we go. So this was a big inspiration for like what the retopology needs to be capable of doing, where some extra creases would form like on the forehead, and yeah, just basically the goalposts. And I have this in this file because sometimes it was a bit good to see where I need some of those loops to be, like on the forehead. That I have like 3 loops which could like pinch together and then they form a crease if I need it. I'm gonna revert the file so that I can get back to the visibility state I had just in a moment. Just a moment ago. Okay, perfect. Like I needed these 3 loops to be exactly here, so it is really easy to rig them into place, and they just immediately form that crease. So, moving on. I think this looks nice. There's like some issues here. Oh, like for example, there's 2 triangles here, and also this mess. If there are 2 triangles, maybe I can just move this one down and just deal with 1 loop over here. Just move this up. There we go. Maybe, but I do want this crease here. Just smoothing over it a little bit. Okay, so this is tricky, definitely. I'm gonna split this, bevel this, and bevel this one too. No, not that one. I'm actually going to get rid of this one again, and instead select essentially this range over here, bevel it. Okay, now I basically have what I wanted. 2 triangles. A bit misplaced from each other, but I can then merge them into one. Well, it's 4 triangles, actually. Okay. This was a little bit weak what I did right here. Hold on. Because I like beveled the edges, but I still need to move them closer to one another so that they can actually merge. Haha. There we go. Okay. Wait. This I can already get, oh, come on. Get rid of. Okay. It's perfect. And perfect. Hold on. Oh, the screencast keys is off again because I reloaded the file. Glad I saw that. Okay. Okay, fanning out these edge loops a bit more so that the crease is not that sharp. I can, let's see, I can get rid of this edge, just dissolve it. Brings us 1 quad over here. I can just keep these ones going until over here. Get rid of this edge over here and this one. Perfect. Okay, in sculpt mode, I could smooth over this a bit more, just to relax that particular area. I do that with a slight relax brush because it keeps the shape intact. There we go. Okay. And now, if I have the Subdivision Surface modifier on, should be mostly fine. Yep. Although, here it is still a bit ugly. Okay. That relaxes it a little bit. I'm basically changing a bit how those folds look. Where they lead, where they end. In order for this to be a bit more relaxed over here. It's too sharp of a corner. I don't want it to all pinch together with these poles. Yeah. Damn it. This one is still really visible over here. What about this one? This one is fine. Any more questions? Again, if you have any questions, just tag Blender Studio in the chat. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this or this. I might resolve that after I finish the shrink wrapping, which will be at some point soon. Can also sometimes maybe still use mirror. No. Topology mirror. No. Doesn't work. That's a shame. Well. Let's see. To be honest, what I would like to do here is I'm going to hide this, select all of this, separate this into its own object, because the bottom part is asymmetrical. But the upper part is still symmetrical, so I would like to keep this symmetrical to save myself some work. So I can just add a mirror modifier to this. Perfect. And I can still have both of these objects in edit mode together, like this. But I can work on this one is mirrored, and this one is not. I love multi-object edit mode. Okay, so now over here I can make sure this loop over here is correctly placed on this crease that I want to have right over here. That's it. Okay, like this over here. And then I bevel this with a center loop, just so I can be sure I can select these two edges over here and just with Control X dissolve them, and then it leads in a diamond quad, and I don't need to worry about this actually having triangles. I do need to be a bit careful about this though, because this is what it usually provokes. There's going to be these little stretched areas. So I think I'm going to end this diamond a bit more lower over here. Let's see. Then we have it down here, but we can... I'll just nudge it again. Like once the shrink wrapping is done, I'm going to apply it at some point. I can tweak these creases so that they look more like I want them to. It's just about nudging points around. But now this crease is a bit more like pronounced. Can also move this a bit closer in, like that. Yeah, in this case I can just move some edge loops around. Like that. Sometimes it doesn't quite have the same shape, but I'm going to fix that. As long as the loops are in the right spots, I can fix that in a kind of automatic way. Like I showed in the last stream, where I used the multi-res modifier to apply the base, and then it kind of automatically fixes all the lost volumes and shapes. Okay, so I'll just also finally bevel this edge with a loop in the center. Sorry, while I'm doing this beveling, the screencast keys is actually not showing what I'm pressing. So it's essentially like, if you're using a mouse, you can just bevel, and then with the mouse wheel you can insert extra edge loops. But you can also, if you're using a pen or you don't want to use the mouse wheel, you can also just press S for segments, and then you add more loops, and then with, what is it, A, you can change the width further. There's like all of these shortcuts in the status bar, you can read them right there. I see some extra questions. Do you use an add-on for automatic retopology? No, not yet. I would love to have one, to be honest. Well, not completely automatic, but semi-automatic. I still want to define where my main loops and where the edge flow is. The program that I was actually using for this was, what was it called? It's actually like an open source tool you can get online. I think it's called InstaMesh or something like that. I need to actually look it up. Wait, InstaMesh. Instant meshes. That's it. That one actually has an integration into Blender directly, so I can really recommend checking that out. You can actually define the edge flow in that by just drawing lines, but it does create a lot of triangles because it tries to keep the distribution and size of the polygons pretty much even. So that results in some issues. It's not great topology. It's not even that great for sculpting, but it might be really good for, like, if you have some props in the background or like some 3D scans that you want to clean up. Apart from that, I'm basically mostly doing manual retopology. Retopoflow can save some time, but I need to get used to using it. And also I want to, for these streams, I want to use Blender as it is right now. I don't want to use any commercial add-ons because it is easier to follow something like a tutorial or a live stream if you can also do the same thing yourself without any problems, without any roadblocks like purchase you need to do to actually do the same. Although, if you really want to save some time for retopology, I like just go for some extra add-ons and plugins. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Another question: are you sharing this project at the Blender website? Yes. You can find some more files, like the sculpting files and also extra time lapses on the Blender cloud. There's a link in the description. It is tied to the subscription service, but I mean, if you want to support me and everyone else here in the team, go ahead and like throw us a bit of money. But yeah, you can find plenty more content there, including my tutorial course on basically doing exactly what I'm doing right now, which is a bit easier to follow because it is more concentrated tutorials. Let's see, I want to bevel this again with one segment in the middle. Actually, wait, I'm gonna wait with that. Ooh. Oh boy. Okay, this is tricky. It's actually like I did not really consider this. There's actually like a sharp loop going around here. I should have planned this out a bit. but I think it's fine if I lose that a bit. Okay, yeah, I can just move this one up here. Let's see. Oh. Smooth this a bit, move this around. So now it's going a bit again, like it's not following the same topology as much of the underlying body, but I want these loops to follow this shoulder a bit more. Okay, can I use, yeah, like the pinch brush to pinch these a bit more together? There we go. And then slide relax to smooth this a bit. Perfect. This should be fine. Yeah, should be fine. Oh yeah, and then I can actually bevel this like this. Should be enough. Okay. Are there any loops that are very much out of place? I saw some of them snapping to the inner side of the shirt. I don't want that. There's also more questions. Oh, Mike is asking a question. Why do you sculpt in cloth folds? Would they not change based on posing? Well, not quite. I mean, we're not using cloth simulation. If we would do that, then yeah, they would dynamically fold and also like release based on the animation. But since this rig and the style of character is supposed to be as easy to animate as possible, we did the same for Rain. I'm actually modeling in the folds, because these folds that we have right here, they would not change depending on the pose. They would always be there, like the ones here, and especially on the back of the knee, and on the bottom of the pants. Like, no matter how you would animate them, it would still be kind of believable that they are there. And the rest of the clothing is close enough to the body, like tight enough that you wouldn't necessarily expect there to be more folds happening at any time. It is a little bit cheap, but it is a compromise, essentially. This is... you could always go more expensive, but yeah, for this style at least it works. I see someone ask, why is your Instagram dead? That's an interesting question. I was thinking about it today again. Like, I was checking my Instagram, and yeah, I haven't used it for a year now, I think. Over a year. That's a bit sad, but I think the main reason why I don't like to use Instagram anymore is it's not really a social platform. It's like, it's a bit like fast food. Like, you're just like going through all the different artworks, just going through the feed, and then just keep liking and liking, but you're never really like saving anything or like actually interacting with people that much. Or even you can interact, you can send messages, but I always I never saw that someone wrote me, and comments just get dumped into the same notification feed as everything else. So I never, like, it's so easy to lose track of what is actually happening on Instagram. And if you're getting a lot of likes at some point and a lot of like just activity in general, you don't see the comments anymore. They just get lost. And I thought that was super sad. Like, there were so many comments that I needed to hunt down to answer. And it's just too much effort. Meanwhile, on like Twitter or Facebook or ArtStation also, like especially on ArtStation, if someone is like, I can filter the activity, I can filter the notifications. So ArtStation and Twitter are definitely the the websites where I'm mostly active and sharing stuff. Ooh, add a Blender Studio account also in Twitter. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can follow the Blender Cloud account, which is essentially the same. Like, I would say there's, at this point, basically no distinction, very little distinction between the Blender Cloud and the Blender Studio, because the Blender Cloud is really just the platform for the Blender Studio. So you can find all of my all of our extra content on there. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to apply the mirror modifier now and merge these objects back together. And now I can select these two edge loops, Control E, bridge, edge loops, bam, and it's all merged again. Okay, with that, the shirt is basically done, I would say. I'm going to do the same trick of, I'm going to duplicate and apply the shrink wrap. Let's disable these modifiers for now. I'm going to add a multi-res modifier and subdivide this like 3 times, 3 times. Ha. Okay, above mesh. Oof. Okay, that's unfortunate. It's like, it's always with the sculpt and its inner side. So if I get rid of that one, yeah, now it actually works much more. So I basically have the multi-res modifier. I shrink wrap all the details onto the subdivided multi-res. And now I have all of the details back. So I could just go down and subdivisions, and here's the base resolution, and here are the higher ones. But the lower one doesn't get updated. It's its own thing unless I hit apply base, and now it actually changed the lowest subdivision, including this one, which got just sent to outer space. Hello there. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna undo that real quick because that is not good. Okay, higher subdivisions. Yeah, I see what's going on here. Okay, so in the... Oh, I need to undo some more to the point where I applied the shrink wrap modifier. Oops. Also, I'm ignoring the chat a bit. Sorry. I actually do that save stuff. I might DM you. Be read by the comments. You're right. I would love it if Instagram would actually have a feature to sort the notifications. I mean, that is essentially my main gripe with it. I get a lot of notifications on my phone, and they are all meaningless because I click on something and it's just sending me into the pile of everything, and it's a bit sad. Also just little gripes with it, like when I'm browsing and I just close, like I just turn off the display of my phone, I open it up again, and it just sends me back to the top of the feed. Maybe they can fix that, I'm not sure. I haven't used the app in a while. Okay, I'm gonna change actually the shrink wrap method to project positive and negative direction, but here I have an extra option to add a limit, and that will prevent it from shrink wrapping to the other side of the mesh. So that's helpful. And now I can apply it. Perfect. And now I can apply the base, which, yep, basically adjusted the lowest resolution to fit the highest ones. And now I can see the result in the Subdivision Surface modifier, and it looks much more like the sculpted mesh. So I can get rid of the multi-res. There we go. Perfect. And you can see how everything is kind of floating above the sculpt. This should be, like, in my opinion, the default behavior of, or like an option. I mean, not the default behavior, but an option for any sort of retopology, snapping, or shrink wrapping, that it actually tries to predict how it will look when you use a subdivision surface modifier. And that will then result in, like, it's not snapping on the surface, but in an, like, estimated spot where it will result in the right volumes and shapes when subdivided. So this is always something I have to do manually afterwards, but it's not that bad. Okay, perfect. The last thing I would like to do is I would like to apply the Solidify, because I want that thickness, but I need it to be the right amount of thickness, so I'm going to turn down the thickness a bit over here. Okay, this looks good. I'm going to apply the Solidify, and then I can select these loops over here, and I can bevel them. Hold on. This one needs to actually move down. Oh. Can I scale this one up? Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna select these edges over here, which I want to bevel. Yep, okay. Unhide all of them. I have all of them selected. Now I can bevel them like this. And if this gets subdivided, then it will actually result in these sharper creases. This is what I want. Okay. Still not perfect though. I would like this also to be beveled one more time. Yes. Can, like, move this a bit further in. Move this up. There we go. Now I have this a bit more pronounced. I'll just do the same thing over here. It's not that bad if it's a bit asymmetric. The shirt is asymmetrical anyways. Okay. There we go. Same thing over here. I'm going to select these two loops over here. I'm going to bevel them once. And I will, like, move this a bit more in. And this a bit more in. Let's see. Move it a bit more in. Scale it up. Well, scale along normals, that's important. Move it a bit in, scale along normals. This one as well. Move it a bit in, scale along normals. There we go. And now this is also way more pronounced. Ooh, maybe a bit too much. Yeah, maybe a bit too much. I'm going to undo that actually. Are there some more questions in the chat? What is the account name in Instagram, Blender Studio, or his name? Well, I mean, Blender itself doesn't have an Instagram account. I have, but I'm not active on it right now. I see someone ask, do you need to have an inner side of the entire shirt, or not? Well, I mean, I'm probably going to delete most of the inner side. I just want to have a little bit for the sleeves and open sides, essentially. Let's see. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these parts over here, which are essentially the seams. I'm going to go into sculpt mode and face set from edit mode selection. Oh, I actually disabled face sets. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Make one face set from everything and then face set from edit mode selection. Perfect. And then I'm going to do the same thing again, but for the borders over here. I'm going to, oh, Jesus. Ah, I'm using the wrong shortcuts, of course. Gross selection. Oh, select more. There we go. Okay, go to sculpt mode, face set from edit mode selection. There we go. Okay, and then I can auto mask by face set and face set boundary. So now I can just smooth over these edges over here a bit while not affecting the other ones. That's helpful. There we go. So these this darker green and this grayish color, they are not affected by the brush right now. Okay, now I can like disable these again, go into object mode, and it's looking a bit better. Wait, I'm actually going to smooth a bit more over this. Yes. There we go. But I'm pretty happy with the shirt, to be honest. So I would just keep this like it is right now. Perfect. I'm also going to give it the right material again. I think I have like just a material called shirt. Do I? Excuse me. Ah, maybe not. It actually, Blender froze a bit right now. I don't know why. Some more questions. Did you work at game industry? If so, what is the biggest difference between animation and game industry? I did not work in the game industry yet. Well, I would like to at some point, but in terms of the industry, I don't know much, but I know a bit about like models and topology and also textures, like some differences there. If possible, I would like to make at some point like some tutorials on this, but for that I would need some more experience, to be honest. I'm not confident with making tutorials about an area where I haven't worked in yet, even though I know a bit, but some questions. Are you the main character artist? Yes. Well, the main character artist at the studio. For how many years have you been doing 3D? Well, basically somewhat 10 years now, where I basically started experimenting in 3D software for the first time. So it's been that long, essentially. Okay, let's see. Now we're getting into the pants. So over here, I would like to do the same thing. Oh, wow. Wait. Unhide everything. Okay, I would like to duplicate parts of the... Hold on. Parts of the body retopology, because this will be really helpful right about now. So I can basically hide this all the way until here. And then oh, hold on. There we go. I can duplicate this and with P, separate selection into its own object. There we go. And this I will move it to the Retopology collection, and I will call it pants. There we go. Okay, I'll actually just put these two objects into local view. I don't need any other objects. There we go. I'm gonna add a shrink wrap modifier back. Shrink wrap. I'll again use project. It's my favorite shrink wrapping method out of all of them, but it needs a bit more setup. So positive, negative directions, above surface, and then I'm going to pick the target, which are the pads. Like that. And then I will again set a limit so that this doesn't happen. Like where it just like shrink wraps to the other side. So like this. Should be good. Okay, now. Most of this should be pretty good already. Huh. First of all, I would like to just inflate this a bit more. I think this will fix some issues over here. Nah, I'm just gonna fix them manually. Just duplicate and apply the shrink wrap modifier. And then go in here and just, with a slight relax brush, smooth a bit over it. So it distributes some of this geometry a bit better. And also fixes issues like these. I will actually delete one side real quick and work with the mirror modifier. Not for long, just for a moment until these sorts of things are fixed. Jesus. Okay. Some more questions maybe. Was Blender the first 3D software you used? Yes. And I kind of stuck with it. Okay. So I'm not going to wait. Ooh. There's actually one thing I kind of forgot about, and that's kind of bad. It's like I never actually modeled the top end of the pants. And that is really unfortunate because I did put a little bit of effort in so that you could actually at some point maybe remove the shirt of Snow. That's like at least, I mean, it's not important right now. It's just a little bit of future-proofing the character if he gets some more outfits. But I'll just retopologize the pants as they are right now. That's making it a bit easier. Okay. So. Ooh, this is actually going to be a bit difficult. There we go. Okay. So I want the folds to be retopologized into place. And I remember the same issue for rain. And it was pain. But that is... yeah, that's basically what I have to do. Okay. I can at least already align some of these loops with general things like the seams, while I still have the mirror modifier. There we go. Here I would actually like to add another loop. Some more questions. Hi Julian, did you do much of this type of production ready character work while you were a freelancer contractor? I'm wondering if I can find this kind of work outside of the studio. I actually never freelanced. I always worked in a studio, but I mean I did do a bit of like retopology work on my own, and like doing a little bit of production work with other people online before I joined the Blender studio. So for example, the short film Being Good, that's like one of the projects I worked on. Let's see. But apart from, like, most of the stuff that I did, and I would say most of the good stuff that I did is with the Blender studio, because I've worked with the Blender studio now for a while. There we go. Let's see. I already need to kind of plot the topology over here for the pockets, but I don't think this should be too difficult. So what I could do over here is just kind of inset this, and now I have the general topology already around the pockets. I kind of framed it in a way that the poles are actually not on any creases. So I think this should be good. This will be tricky. I don't know why I did this again. This is I did the same thing for rain and it was pain. This sort of thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna merge these faces over here for now. This I'm going to remodel once I have that part. I see some more questions. What's the feature that you think Blender is missing currently that would make a huge life improvement for Blender Studio artists? Well, I mean, mostly I'm just thinking right now about retopology, since that's what I'm doing right now. So some sort of live snapping feature would be nice. Not using the shrink wrap modifiers and stuff like that, but actually a smart live snapping system that works well for retopology. There's plenty of retopology features that I could think of. There just needs to be someone to implement it. That's usually the issue. Let's see. Boy. I'm going to do the same trick over here with the Solidify modifier at the very end, because that blocks the other side with the hidden wire overlay. That way I can delete this side completely. And it still looks nice. So. Let's see. What I could do over here is I could do something like this. Add another edge loop over here. Move this one up. Move these down. Hey, knife. Knife this. There we go. Mm-hmm. It's not super pretty, but I would say this works. I can merge this, insert it, and then I already have this kind of framed. I'm going to look up what I did for rain real quick. So over here, what did I do? Kind of a similar thing, but a bit different. Yeah, a bit different. Anyway, what's going on in the chat? So creating the fur of the sheep and creating the shirt are both complicative? Sorry, I don't understand. The fur of the sheep. You're speaking about Cosmos Laundromat? Let's see. Okay. Well, let's see. I would love it if I could make something a bit more useful with the topology over here. This is gonna be so tricky. Let's see. Okay, that almost works. Something like this. Now this at least flows better. But it is a bit of a mess. I'll work with this for now and see what I can do. I'll insert this. It's maybe not, I mean, it's not that necessary to retopologize all of this in one object, like have all of this connected. But even if it would be disconnected pieces, they kind of need to follow the same topology. Otherwise, they will just they won't be able to be rigged that well. Let's see. What else? There's some more questions. Yeah, because in this live stream I am seeing both difficult. Both, as in creating fur for a sheep or creating a shirt. Sorry, I don't understand. In your experience, is it standard to capture these flatter details like pockets in the mesh rather than normal maps for feature animation? Well, I mean, even if you're using normal maps, you shouldn't use it for something that is convex. I mean, it's more easier to do it for something that is concave, that's going inwards, because if there's anything that is visible in the silhouette of the mesh, it should be there. But also for film, you're not typically capturing major shapes with normal maps. Like, if anything, you add a little bit of extra detail on top with bump maps, but those are subtle. You want to capture mostly everything with the topology you have, because you can add that topology. It's not like there's not a big limitation on it. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how far I can get with the pants. Would be nice to actually wrap this up mostly. Oh, what's going on over here? There we go. Loop this around. Bring this all the way up. Basically doing a very similar thing as I did with the shirt. Okay. I'm actually just going to like bring this up for now. Maybe I can. No. Some questions. Do you use a Cintiq? On my regular work computer, yes, although it's interesting, I always have a bit of a hard time recommending it because in my opinion I like to work the most with a really simple drawing tablet, like as simple as possible, no touch features, no display, because it's just the most convenient and just comfortable to use. A Cintiq gives you some extra advantages, especially in terms of precision, but it needs a very particular setup to be ergonomic, and you need to kind of find that yourself. It takes a bit of time to figure out how to use a Cintiq in a comfortable way, in my opinion. Okay. Okay, this kind of works. Now for the knee, this is interesting. Some of this structure for the loops I can already reuse. This works. But some other things I need to kind of throw away. These loops. Actually I'm going to select everything and just get rid of the sharps. I don't need them right now. even as a way of annotating the mesh, I can mostly see what I'm doing. Okay. Let's see. Kind of trying to loop these around. Oh. Oh, hi, Falk. Nice of you to join the chat. There we go. Yeah, some of this topology that I'm doing won't work for the other side, but I don't care too much right now. I want this to work for one side of the legs for now. Let's see. To be honest, what I would like to do right now is just an orthographic view with Alt-B. I can use the clipping mask to work on one side more easily by just having this only visible. So now it also says in the header, like in the statistics over here, clipped. It's local and it's clipped. With Alt-B, you can at any time put it back to how it was before. Let's see. See, where does this go? No, I don't want that. Yeah, let's have these meet. I want loops to generally meet again, so they don't spiral. So if it's like this one and this one, I can see this one is supposed to go all the way over here and meet back into this one. This way my topology stays kind of manageable. Okay. This is all looking kind of good. Can send this one up here. Like this. Huh. Is this the same one? I actually want to get rid of all of these poles over here. That will just make it a bit easier to make a more custom topology right now. Let's see. So. Uh-huh. This one is definitely needed. Ooh, what's going on over here? This one is going way up. Like this. Wow. Okay. There we go. Going to merge these. Some questions. Is Blender used for game building also? Well, Blender used to have a game engine, but that's some time ago now. Other than that, you can definitely make gaming assets in Blender. It's pretty useful. Like, also, I mean, something that is generally used as well. So anything you would put into your game engine, you can also build with Blender, yes. Oh, Jesus. Oh, well. Yeah, right now it's really just a lot of pushing vertices around. So I hope all of these still match up. They kind of nicely loop around. I want that to be consistent. There we go. Can add one more over here in the middle. Bridge these. Same thing over here. So I can bridge these two and these two. There we go. Bridge these. Okay. Same thing over here. I can bridge these and this over here. Perfect. Okay, I can go into sculpt mode if I wanted to, and just with a slight relax brush, just smooth over this a bit to distribute these. Just very carefully, because some of those I placed very deliberately somewhere. I wish I could see that more easily in sculpt mode. But that, I mean, that is like known. Like, I mean, sculpt mode is not meant to be used for retopology that much, but it has some tools that are really useful for retopology. Okay, let's see. Can also bring this one home over here. Okay, now I kind of set this up in a way that is useful. There's quite a lot of loops over here. I would actually like to get rid of these. Like that. And then dissolve. No, I'm not going to dissolve them yet, because I might still crease some of these edges. Okay. I might actually let this one spiral a bit. Not spiral, but like offset them. Might be useful. Let's see. Okay. So now I'm gonna start to... Actually, no. I'm not gonna start to bevel these yet. I think at this point I should actually... I think I should mirror the... I should apply the mirror modifier. Although what I'm going to do is I will again split the geometry. So this one will keep the mirror modifier. And this one will not. And I can just keep working in these. There we go. Okay, I'm going to turn off X mirror. So now I can tweak this a bit more on this side as well. Okay, it's actually again Alt B. I'm gonna clip this side so that I can see more focused what's going on over here. Again, if you have any questions, just tag Blender Studio. I can see that more easily. I see someone ask, why don't you use the poly build? So I guess the poly build tool. I could. Like especially... I mean, I like some of the functionality, but I like the F2 add-on more. It's a bit easier to handle. The poly build tool still needs a bit of work. It can be way better, but for now, it's a bit hard to really integrate into a retopology workflow. It's just some features missing and a little bit more of fine polishing that will make it really useful. But that's something to wait on. Like, it will happen eventually. Just lots of poly pushing, vertex pushing right now. But that is to be expected of retopology at some point. Or at least if you're doing like a really fine-tuned retopology, there's also some, like sometimes there's like also, especially with semi-automatic retopology tools, Like it is less about pushing points around, but actually to just define the edge flow. But I think this is already pretty good. I can work with this. Okay, perfect. Now, most of them, like the general edge flow is working well. I can like smooth some of this a bit, also on both sides. All the major loops are on the right spot, so I can keep working from this. Over here, now it becomes tricky. This part down here, this will be a very customized topology. So let's do this. After then I go in and polish, bevel edges and crease stuff, and just generally land more where I want to go. So over here I can like try to move this a bit more generally. So over here, and I can already see that doesn't work. Not quite. So I could maybe like go all the way over here and then move this all the way back up. And now I'm going to extrude this down again. I want to keep the loops like where they flow as simple as possible. This will be difficult. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Perfect. This kind of works, but now it will become even more tricky to keep this simple. I see some more questions pop up. Thanks, same for me, is very useful, but can be better. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, sorry. Oh, why don't you use polybuild? Sorry for a stupid question, but why did you split the pants top and bottom? Oh, well, there's no, like usually there's no such thing as a stupid question, but I did it because these two sides will be very asymmetrical. So this is a separate object with no mirror modifier, and this still has a mirror modifier because this is going to be pretty much symmetrical. So I can just split it into two objects, go into edit mode with both of them selected, and still adjust them together. But you can see this side moves symmetrically, this one does not. It's a bit it's pretty useful. You like hard surface modeling or sculpting? Yeah, I think that's also pretty challenging, but I like it. And I think this is also, like, this sort of character design is dancing on the edge of hard surface. It's still organic, but it has a lot of creases. Let's actually do something like skipping ahead a bit over here. Like this. If you had to use a different 3D software, what would it be? Ooh. Oh boy. Different 3D software. For retopology, I mean, I would really love to try out Topogon at some point. They have some really interesting features. Very sexy software. In general, there's always like some programs that are more optimized towards specific tasks. Blender is sort of a jack of all trades with doing, like, you can do some really amazing stuff in there. And I would say some areas are actually really industry leading in a way, in some aspects. There's a lot of potential for growth as well for others. But there's still sometimes software that I would rather use in certain tasks. I would still love to get into Substance again for materials and texturing. but even Substance is a bit limited in a way, so it's just mainly for specific tasks where I'm like just craving some features. So, but one thing I would hate to do is to hop between different software packages constantly. One of the beauties of using Blender is you can all do it in one software, which makes the workflow for creating assets very simple and sort of streamlined. You can make an entire production in this program. Let's see. If there's some issue with the, I see some more questions, just reading them without context. If there are some issues with the rig retopo when bending the knee, do you use key mesh as a way to smooth out the animation, or just correct the rig? Well, key mesh is something, like, I'm not sure if you may mean shape keys or key mesh, because key mesh is still something that is very new and still in alpha. Wait. Oh man. But yes, it's typically something that you would fix in the rig. But they can. I mean, also the rig is using shape keys, so typically it is. So there's lots that you could do there. Let's see. Yeah, now I'm going into spiraling. It's a bit sad. Well, not spiraling, but at least some, yeah, this sort of thing where the loops are redirected somewhere else. It's not spiraling yet. That's something I should definitely avoid from happening. That's basically the only thing I'm always afraid of, that with these areas of the topology, that it's at some point going to spiral out of control. Let's see. Can I do something like this? It could actually work. Oh yeah. No. Okay. To prevent spiraling, I need to have this go back into the same loop. So at some point I need to resolve this triangle. Ooh, I could maybe actually move this up here. Yeah, I can fix this at some point. There's plenty more questions. Are you using any add-ons for retopology right now? F2, that's the main one. It's officially integrated into Blender, so you can just activate it. It's essentially a way of creating polygons really quickly by just pressing F. There's like videos on YouTube on how to use it, what it's doing. Like you can just check on YouTube F2 add-on Blender and it will show you. How do we transfer all the add-ons and configurations from an old to a new Blender version? It should do that automatically. When you open a new Blender version, it will ask you, do you want to copy all of your preferences from an old version? And it will just copy over everything. Can I use a medical scan, MRI, as bones in Blender And if so, how, since those imported vertebrae or objects are not bones? What? No, I mean, it's such an interesting thought. I never think of bones in Blender as actual armature bones, like bones in Blender, the armature bones as like actual bones that you, like as in scanned geometry. No, those are like two completely different things. So you would need to do that another way. You would need to create new bones. Okay, let's see. Is it not easier with speed retopo? It's free as well. Ah, yeah. I haven't used that add-on in a while. I should try it out. But yes, that is one of the add-ons that could save you some time. I don't think it's free. I mean, in the end, all add-ons are free. Like, that's the good thing about open source. The source code is completely available to anyone. But Speed Retopo is a commercial add-on, I think. And yeah, I'm just adding triangles right now because I need to kind of plot out the geometry. Yeah. It's still something that I'm like, I got into this habit of like adding triangles when I was making low poly models. But it is still really useful as a way of like first doing like a really rough, quick retopology and then fixing it afterwards. I don't know. Still kind of used to this. Sometimes it's not the best workflow. There we go. Some of these folds I'm going to abandon. I'm not going to retopologize them. They're too detailed and complex. Okay. Okay, pretty happy with this. Maybe I'm going to check a little bit. Is there like, there's some aspects where a loop gets like looped around and goes back up, but that's fine as long as there's no loop that's like spiraling. Okay, I can now do the same thing over here. It's just gonna take a bit of time to complete. Yeah, this will mean there's going to be another stream for the topology of the clothing. And then after that, I still really hope that I can move on to a live stream series on UV unwrapping, which shouldn't be that much, like it shouldn't be as long as the retopology parts. UV unwrapping should be pretty simple for this character. There's nothing too complex that I need to do. Let's see. I mean, there could be like just follow-up videos on the retopology, because UV unwrapping is one part of it, but there also needs to be some extra shape keys, I would say. Like the open and closed eyes, that's something I always add. Also pupil dilation shape keys, something like that. And anything else that would be necessary for the rig. In Sprite we did stuff like different teeth shapes for cartoony animation, stuff like that. And that needs to be in preparation of the rig. That's still kind of part of the retopology process. So that, I would say I'll just add that to the series pretty much. There's a lot more questions. Sorry, I'm neglecting the chat a bit. Hey, have you ever used B-Surface and Grease Pencil to create retopology? I need to use it again a bit more. I really like that way of adding topology, but ideally that sort of thing should be implemented by default. I think we're at that point now. More retopology work from the devs, please. But for now, the add-on is fine. Do you have any tips for modeling a Stormtrooper figure? Seen some tutorials, but they're only helmet modeling. I mean, that kind of those kind of lessons on the helmet, you could just carry them over to all the other parts, but yeah, not much. This is not much on figurines. Is it necessary to draw all scenes and then make them in Blender to create a perfect short film? Man, I wish there would be, like, if you want some more info on like how to make short films in Blender, like for pretty much any short film project we did at the Blender Studio, we added making of material and tutorials, which you can find for Spring, for Coffee Run, for pretty much anything. And there we go a bit more into detail, like how we organized and made those short films. So you can find that on the cloud. There's so much material right there. Like if you go to training and then, I think it's called production lessons, but you can also go to specific projects and there should be a folder in all of those projects called tutorials or breakdowns and walkthroughs, that sort of thing. So you can find that there. There we go. Let's see. Does this work? Yeah. Yeah, this is not good. These vertices have 6 connected edges. Let's just do this for now. Actually, no. I'd like to bring this all the way around. Select these two edges. Control X, delete them. Should be good. Okay, some more questions. So if you model the cloth creases, won't they not change when the rig is moved? Won't that make the creases static? It might look bad. How do you... Thank you. Well, the intent with these creases is that they will not change during the animation. So that makes it a bit easier to style the clothing a bit. But yes, it is kind of tricky. Like, if you want the clothes to be more dynamic, implement that. That is not easy. These modeled increases are a bit of a cheap way, but uh-oh. What is going on? No. Uh-oh. Is the stream breaking up for you? Uh-oh. No. I hope the stream is okay. I'm getting like a warning message. Not good. I hope it's all going fine for you. Yeah. Let me know if the streaming is kind of going bad. Okay, everything seems to be fine. Okay. No, stream is losing frames right now. Uh-oh. That's not good. Uh-oh. Hold on, I'm gonna try to fix it. Damn it. That's not good. It's fine again? Perfect. Yeah, I'm still getting an error message that the stream is not going good. If anything changes, let me know. I hope it's fine now. Yeah, it should be good now. Phew. Okay, let's see. I want to move this down. See. Nice. Yeah, I think I could lead these in here. The knife tool, and then I have a quad right here. helping a bit. It's thinning out over here on the back. It's not great. It's also getting kind of complex. Go. Okay, so I have both sides kind of done in terms of the general edge flow. There's like plenty of triangles and like things I need to fix, but some of this stuff I can actually already fix. Like over here, I could just add another edge loop over here. Bridge these two. Same thing over here. I think that should be fine. I go into sculpt mode with a slight relax brush. I can smooth over it a bit more. And that should capture almost all of the major creases. I would like to adjust this a bit more. This one should just continue a bit further over here. Ooh, and then I could like get this into... Yeah, that could kind of work. Not a fan of this. Well, I mean, this kind of works for now. So I have everything kind of laid out. I'm almost out of time, sadly. So I will continue a little bit, but not for long. So what I could do is I would really like to focus more on on these two over here, these parts. So I can refine one of the legs a bit more already. Let's see. So I could do that by like selecting this edge, for example, beveling it like that, and also this one, although ooh, hold on, this one goes all the way around like this. Here it fans out a bit more and then it creases back together. I'm also going to duplicate and apply the shrink wrap modifier. That's about time. And now I can crease this edge as like bevel this edge as well, which also goes all the way around. This one can go a bit wider. Yeah, again, for that it's really useful to clip one side away, like this. And now I can work on this side a bit more focused. Would actually like this to lead down here. Yeah, that would be better. Some of that pinching I can remove once I am... once I have the shrink wrap modifier applied. Okay. Yeah, it's already looking nice. Perfect. And then I need to do the same thing over here. Bevel this, move it in. Here I don't need any more extra loops. These two over here are already fine. But that does mean I'm going to run into problems over here. This is tricky. I should undo this. That was a bad idea. This is what I wanted to do. Yes. This makes much more sense. Okay. See, can I shift these triangles downwards for a bit so I can do this? It works a bit, but it doesn't quite capture the edges in the same way. I'm sacrificing some hard lines. maybe that is fine. Yeah, it's gonna look different, but I'm okay with that. Would be ideal though if it would look exactly the same. But sometimes I just like to make more compromises to make the retopology a bit easier. Okay. So this part up here already kind of works. All the main creases, peaks and valleys I wanted to capture are there. And then next week, once I continue with this, I will just need to do the same thing for the area down here. And of course, the other side. And then also the top side. So I'll just keep these in edit mode as a reminder to myself. Let's see. That this is what I will need to continue with next week. But then afterwards, it should be basically done. Like, let's see. Okay, save. Another question. Do you plan on doing more varied streams? These are really fun, and maybe even some live animation and rigging. I would love it if, I mean, these are like the Blender Studio live streams, and so far I was the only one doing them, but it would be nice to get some more people on board to do them. Would be really interesting to have some shading live streams, some animation live streams maybe too, rigging. There's plenty to show, and if people would be up for it, it would be nice to show some more of the production that is going on right now, even though like we are really going into the production of Sprite Fright right now, which is a lot of work. We're hoping to have everything done by Halloween essentially, or like, which makes sense, but if we can show any of that, that would be ideal. So far I've been like straying a bit away from showing production stuff because I wanted to like, for me, I in my opinion, it's not that exciting right now. I'm basically building sets and like doing set dressing, and then I get 2 hours a week to work on snow. And like, it would be interesting to see like how, I don't know, like anyone is welcome to do some streams. But yeah, having some more varied topics would be nice. And I mean, I also want to switch it up. So next, originally I did some sculpting streams. Now it was retopology for quite a few weeks now. And then it's going into more stuff like UV unwrapping and then texture painting. We'll see how it goes, but the streams will continue. And with that, I will say goodbye for today, and I will see you next week, same time. Have a nice weekend. Bye.